Willow Creek, a 5-mile-long watercourse in central Michigan, is a source of natural beauty for local riparian landowners. It provides habitat for a variety of wildlife, and it's an Ingham County drain with a watershed of some 5,800 acres. But streambank erosion has threatened Willow Creek, its biological integrity, its water quality, and its appearance. To improve and preserve Willow Creek, the Michigan Department of Environmental Quality awarded the Ingham County Drain Commissioner a Section 319 non-point source pollution grant. Engineering consultants Fishbeck, Thompson, Carr, and Huber organized the efforts of local agencies such as the Natural Resources Conservation Service, volunteers, and other consultants to implement the grant. Through their combined expertise, resources, and labor, they applied soil bioengineering techniques that may be an alternative to more conventional engineering solutions. Using live materials, they created a lush vegetative cover for the eroding stream banks of Willow Creek. A study of a 1-mile reach of Willow Creek revealed that accelerated streambank erosion was the suspected source of excessive amounts of sediment. This sediment covers the bottom of Willow Creek or is carried downstream to Sycamore Creek and the Grand River. When it settles, it causes reduced levels of oxygen and impairs the habitat for fish and other organisms that live in the stream.
The project that we're undertaking here is in part an attempt to stabilize this sediment loading and improve water quality while still providing proper drainage.
To determine the proper use of soil bioengineering techniques, it is important to understand the physical characteristics and forces that shape and change rivers and streams. 5 conditions contributed to the erosion of Willow Creek's banks: soils, leaning trees, bare banks, groundwater seepage, and inlets. Area soils are classified as Edwards series. Edwards series has 2 distinct layers. The upper layer is black muck. The lower layer contains gray marl, a moderately coarse to moderately fine-textured soil. Although this type of soil is classified as having a slight erosion hazard, when bare soil is exposed to the forces of flowing water in the stream and to groundwater seepage through the channel banks, it becomes very susceptible to erosion.
But the particle size in this particular soil is extremely small. But when it's suspended in water, it stays suspended for a long time. And because it's so fine, it has the potential of winding up as far as Lake Michigan and becoming part of the pollution problem within the Lake Michigan system.
Leaning trees posed an additional erosion hazard. Trees are usually beneficial to have along a stream, providing shade that keeps water temperatures cool and root mass that holds the soil in place. In unstable soils such as those at Willow Creek, however, trees can become easily undermined. Over time, the stream current washes away soil from the roots to the extent that they no longer support the weight of the tree. Fallen trees may become an obstacle, a barrier to good water movement, obstructing the flow and further eroding the banks. Bare banks are also common along this reach of Willow Creek. Large trees can provide an excessive amount of shade on channel banks, preventing the growth of ground cover. In heavy rains or high flows, the bare banks have the potential for accelerated erosion. The 4th condition contributing to erosion is groundwater seepage from the channel banks.
The groundwater table in the upland portion vents above the level of the water in the creek itself, partly because the organic nature of the soils soak up water like a sponge, and after a rainstorm they vent to the side.
2 inlet sources, agricultural tiles and overland flow, also contribute to soil erosion. Most of the agricultural tiles outlet into the drain through the channel bank, but without adequate control measures, erosion may occur at these inlets. Stormwater runoff may create areas of concentrated flow, which can erode large amounts of soil over time if not adequately stabilized.
This particular event that's taking place right here creates an enormous amount of erosion over time. Eventually, this stream will erode all the way to its source and become the same level as the stream, or at least in part at level with the stream itself, and all of that soil will be lost downstream. We want to try and prevent that from happening.
Soils, leaning trees, bare banks, groundwater seepage, and inlets are all factors that may influence accelerated stream bank erosion along Willow Creek. The remedy for many of the worst problem areas identified along Willow Creek was the use of soil bioengineering techniques, which combine structural, biological, and ecological concepts to prevent shallow slope failures and erosion. Before installing soil bioengineering techniques, minimal site preparation is necessary to shape the banks and provide access. The selective removal of leaning and dead trees at the preparation stage aids the effort by eliminating obstructions that accelerate stream bank erosion. Opening up the tree canopy by selective cutting or trimming allows some sunlight to reach the channel banks, promoting the growth of vegetation. By leaving the stumps in place, they may sprout new growth, while the retained root mass helps to stabilize the soil. Soil bioengineering techniques used in Willow Creek included building and installing live stakes, live fascines, brush mattresses, and other plantings. All soil bioengineering techniques require live material. Proper selection and harvest of live material are critical. Species that work well include willow, red osier dogwood, silky dogwood, elderberry, and buttonbush, harvested during their dormant periods in late October to early December or late March to early April.
If we put it down, this gives us a little bigger.
David Bergdorf, plant material specialist for the Natural Resources Conservation Service, found a very good harvest site for dogwood, with many different sizes of material. The lower branches are used for live stakes, and the upper branches for fascines or brush mattresses.
Okay, now what we're going to be looking at, as I mentioned, was the silky dogwood or red osier dogwood. That plant, those two species also exhibit bud and root initiation that work very well in the soil bioengineering techniques. Here we're looking at, again, in the wintertime, you don't have your seeds or leaves, but you do have some of the old seed pod place where the seeds were on the plant. But this plant, the keying out of this, you can see it in a distance, has really a bright or red twigs or tips on the ends of it. And that is characteristics, and the pointed or leaves, if you find a few leaves around, would be of the silky dogwood. Red osier dogwood, it has brilliant deep red stems, quite larger than the silky. And and you need to look at where you're growing at as another key to finding these materials. These grow in moist sites, wet areas of a landscape. So here we've got this whole plant that we could be utilizing for fascines, for a brush mattress, or for live staking.
Live stakes are made from the larger stems of plants. They will root and aid in stabilizing the slope. Simply find appropriate material, cut the larger stems to resemble stakes, and tamp them into the slope.
A live staking is just another technique in soil bioengineering. If you have a site where you don't want to go in and put willow, like a fascine, not willow, but a fascine or a brush mattress or whatever, you can come in with a backpack of live stakes and a small dead blow hammer, and you can come in and tamp all these in down to a depth where they're 6 inches maybe exposed and leaving a lot in the surf underneath the ground for rooting. And you can go in and treat a site real quick with that. And this will all sprout and grow and root up, and it'll hold that soil in place.
Live fascines are bundles of live-cut branches. Applied in areas with bare banks where surface runoff or groundwater seepage causes sloughing, the live fascines sprout shoots and roots throughout the growing season, protecting slopes from shallow slides as well as trapping and holding soil on the face of the slope. Eventually, the fascine at the toe of the slope will produce a dense root mass, protecting the toe from further erosion. To assemble a live fascine, first select and harvest appropriate material. Place the material into a sawbuck to create a bundle approximately 6 inches in diameter. Tie with twine at 1-foot intervals. The fascine should be approximately 15 feet or longer, resembling a sausage-like structure. Place the fascine into a trench 7 to 8 inches deep and 7 to 8 inches wide, starting at the toe of the slope, with others following at selected intervals up the face of the slope. Knowing which species will survive in wetter locations allows fascines to be placed accordingly. Walk on the fascine to secure it in place. Place wood stakes every 3 feet vertically through the fascine. Backfill the trench with soil, making sure there is good soil-plant contact. If necessary, place a mulch blanket between fascines before placing live stakes. Place live stakes beneath and through the live fascine, perpendicular to the bank. Fiber rolls can be used at the water's edge. Constructed of a coconut fiber, fiber rolls are durable. They do not grow roots or shoots by themselves, but many varieties of plants may grow in and around them. A brush mattress consists of live fascines, live stakes, and branches staked and wired to the slope. A brush mattress promotes the growth of roots and shoots while providing immediate reinforcement of the soil with the unrooted branches. Surrounding vegetation may then spread into the brush mattress to produce a heavily vegetated bank. Before installing a brush mattress, the banks should be graded to a stable slope. Place wood stakes throughout the site at 3-foot intervals. Install live fascines at the toe of the slope and also at the top. Place branches flat on the slope with the butt end tucked under the fascine at the toe of the slope. Secure using wire by crisscrossing the wire over the branches and wrapping the wire around the wood stakes. After wiring, tamp in the wood stakes another 1 to 2 inches to tighten the branches against the slope. Finally, cover the entire brush mattress with soil and tamp in live stakes throughout the site.
This bank was quite sensitive in that it offered an opportunity for the energy from the water to erode it at a very rapid rate. And what we used in here were some fascines at the toe of the stream, and up along the top part we used what's called a brush mattress. And in this case we used red osier dogwood again, and this is all new growth from the fascines. And this, for example, here is a growth from the brush mattress on the upper part of the slope. And we have live stakes in here too that are just now starting to come out with some leaves, so we know that they're rooting rather well.
Plantings also help to stabilize the bank. Trees and shrubs planted along the top of the bank provide root growth throughout the soil. They also add plant diversity to the site. It's important to select plant species adapted to the soil type and conditions of the area. A diversity of shade and moisture-loving shrubs were planted along Willow Creek. Varieties included cranberry, buttonbush, nannyberry, white cedar, and common elder. The NRCS also provided 2 experimental varieties of non-spreading willows for use in fascines and plantings. Willows are a natural choice for soil bioengineering techniques because they are a hardy, water-loving tree. Unfortunately, they can grow and spread so readily that they may easily become a nuisance. The Bankers and Streamco willow were used to demonstrate their effectiveness for a particular problem area. After all, it only makes sense to use willows along Willow Creek.
And in among the rocks and then up on the upper banks, we planted a willow. This is a sterile willow, and they seem to be coming through rather nicely. These will not spread. Most willow, domestic kinds of willow, will take off and go into the stream bank itself, and they'll spread all over the place. These particular species of willow is sterile, and they will grow only where they are, and they won't spread. So this is kind of an experimental plot for this particular type of willow bush. We believe that the root system in this willow will go a long way in protecting the integrity of the soil in this particular spot.
Some sites require more than live materials to prevent further erosion. The remedy may also involve structural concepts as applied at a site along Willow Creek.
So part of the project was to stabilize this system, and we did that by reinforcing the fall here with bags of concrete underneath, and then brought in truckloads of these rocks to give it more of a natural look. We used a horseshoe-shaped reinforcing mechanism back in here and stabilized the banks above it with red osier dogwood, and everything is coming along nicely. The water seems to splash nicely over the fall, and it also helps in adding oxygen to the system.
The need is clear for more environmentally sensitive yet feasible options for water quality management. Fulfilling a goal of the 319 grant program, the Willow Creek project offered a unique opportunity to introduce soil bioengineering techniques and their application to others interested in stream bank protection. Guided by a steering committee, the activities were not only fun for the many participants and volunteers involved, but were learning experiences as well.
And the stuff that Pat's doing here, a lot of it's kind of new and cutting edge, and at least in its application new. And we're looking to kind of expand the knowledge base and use some of this more low-impact bioengineering type stuff on a lot of the projects that we do.
In place of more conventional techniques such as riprap, concrete, straightening, or enclosure, soil bioengineering techniques offer a desirable alternative. They use natural material. They are soft measures that adapt to stream dynamics. They are relatively inexpensive solutions for controlling accelerated stream bank erosion. They are easy to construct and install, and they cause minimal disturbance to the surrounding area. Combining structural, biological, and ecological concepts, soil bioengineering techniques are doing their job, improving and preserving the water quality of Willow Creek.